So the problem with the TSA program, the scoping and the groping and the 6-year-old girls and all the terrible stuff that you've seen, on the internet and on the nightly news. The problem with that isn't really that there are people out there who run airlines that way. The root of this whole problem goes way back to 2001 when we decided to make these people government employees. Because you know what? If every airline or even every airport or every consortium of airlines got to decide what security policies they wanted to have, that'd be great. There could be fraidy cat airlines where everybody gets strip searched because they're afraid of bombs on board. And then there could be Liberty Airlines where people like me would fly and you'd be allowed to bring your gun cased and and unloaded on board if you wanted to, and there just wouldn't be any of the nonsense that people are going through with TSA. Now, when I fly, do I really mind going through security? Well, I wouldn't if it were private. But here's the problem. If the government is allowed to peek under my clothes just because I'm getting on an airplane, why isn't the government allowed to stop me when I'm driving down the highway and decide that they want to pull me out and for that? Our Fourth Amendment law for many years has made clear that there has to be some reasonable, particularized suspicion before you pull somebody out and tell them that you want to search them. And yet, here we have this program where just because you buy a plane ticket, you have to go through the scanner. And if this stands, because people generally think it's reasonable or they don't mind doing it, the problem isn't that it changes air travel. The problem is that it adjusts permanently our sense of what the boundary is between us and the government. If you allow this because it seems like a reasonable thing to do on planes, then you allow it on highways, you allow it on trains, you allow it in the public square. And that's something that is incompatible with our system of ordered liberty. I walked into this building today. I was asked to show my ID by a private security guard. I gladly showed my ID to the private security guard. I don't mind that. But to have government officials able for no reason to ask people to show ID anytime, that you always have to carry your papers, that's a state none of us want to live in. So when we talk about questions about whether something should be a government program or a private program, I think we often don't talk about this really important fact that the things we allow the government to do really ought to stay quite limited to avoid sort of this ever-expanding mess where government crowds out our liberty.